When I was in a different organization, I did an orientation program for people coming into the plan. And one of the questions I would ask them is, what do they think the single factor is that most influences an organization? Like, think of one thing that most influences an organization. And since I was the CFO, people always said money or, something financial. And I'm sure there's probably not one really right answer, but the answer that I was looking for is ownership, company ownership. And you think about healthcare organizations, you have private organizations that might be owned by a small, an individual, possibly larger organizations that are either nonprofit companies or for-profit companies. And that is really significant when you're in finance classes as a student, you learn that there's one objective for-profit organizations that are owned by stockholders, and that is to maximize shareholders' wealth.
Hmm.
And, so that's basically you want to make money so you can pay dividends, keep an elevated price for people that are investing in your company. The nonprofit organizations have a different structure. They're not owned by shareholders. They're not owned by anyone. They're community assets, and they have an
Hmm.
obligation to serve the community. They're usually led by volunteer boards of people that are really looking at how you're spending your money to reinvest in your mission. And so they're very different kinds of organizations. And so your question is really interesting. I think my career has been on the nonprofit side. So, I have to acknowledge that. But I think as some of the organizations that have exited have a lot of pressure being publicly traded and needing to perform financially, make the margin, and be true to their shareholders. As a mission based organization, we are trying to serve the community and be a long term safety net